Guys, Jaxie here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to talk about something that happened at a meeting last night. I don't normally talk about specific meetings, but considering the video that I just did, I'll put the link to it in a card up on the corner, and you'll see why this bothered me. So if you guys aren't familiar with my channel, if this is your first time here, my channel is all about recovery from addiction. Although I am a member of Narcotics Anonymous, I do have a little bit more open-minded approach to addiction and recovery in general. And so some of my opinions are a little different than other people's, but you know, one of the reasons I like Narcotics Anonymous is the unity and love and that you find in the rooms, right? It's not supposed to be about judgment. It's supposed to be about caring. And I was at a meeting last night that like really struck me in a way that was like incredibly uncomfortable. So it's a meeting that I chair, and we had a speaker, and the speaker did a really great job. The speaker was sharing their experience, and they happened to bring up the idea of Suboxone. Now, this person had worked at treatment facilities, and they had seen people be put on Suboxone like after they had detoxed, and he had mentioned that he didn't really understand like why people would be put on it after they had already completed detox, and that it was drug companies pushing medications. And like, look, that's a common opinion, and it is something that happens, right? But also a lot of that opinion comes down to not understanding why somebody may be prescribed Suboxone, right? Like Suboxone oftentimes is prescribed for someone who's high risk of relapse because it's safer to be on a maintenance medication than to overdose and die. So I didn't really so much have a problem with what he shared. I thought he gave a pretty good message, and he recognized that his opinions may be different than other people's, but it was his experience, and so I was okay with that. But there's this man who goes to that meeting, and he used to be a home group member, but he decided he didn't really like me, so he stopped being a home group member. Now, I don't generally have a lot of people in my life that don't like me. I'm not to say like, oh, I'm the best person ever, but like I'm generally a pretty likable person. I like people. I generally care about people. I'm generally supportive of people, and I'm tolerant of people's views who aren't the same as mine. So I don't generally have a lot of people in my life that don't like me. Well, for whatever reason, this guy doesn't like me, and I think the reason he doesn't like me is because I'm a strong-minded woman. I think he's one of those guys that like is intimidated by women who have an opinion. He seems to be kind of old-fashioned in his view of women, and our discourse kind of started when we were talking about politics. Again, not a topic I brought up, and it was before a meeting, and this was maybe almost a year ago. And he brought up his political beliefs in like a pretty like discriminatory, hateful way, and I was like, I just don't see the world that way, you know? I generally view the world as a we should be kind to each other sort of way, you know? So anyway, so this man had the opportunity to share, and he was so smug about it, right? And he shared, and he was literally saying, people who are on Suboxone aren't clean. Anybody who's sitting in this room and taking Suboxone and thinking they're clean is not. And was so hateful. And like, look, people have that opinion, right? But I look around and I see the faces, because I'm chairing the meeting, so we're not sitting in a circle. I'm like at a table in the front, and everybody else is like facing me and the speaker, and I'm looking around the room and I'm thinking, there's people in that room that I've never seen before, and I don't know their situation, and I'm imagining what it must be like for somebody who may be on any sort of maintenance medication sitting in their very first meeting. And this is the message that we're giving them, that if you're taking a maintenance medication, that yeah, you're welcome here, but you're not clean and you're doing the wrong thing. Now, luckily there was a woman there who shared an opposing perspective, right? And she said that, you know, how is it that, you know, she was like survived cancer and surgeries or something, and she had shared about the fact that how is it that somebody can take fentanyl as prescribed for surgery, as prescribed by a doctor, and be clean, but yeah, we're going to judge people who take maintenance medications as prescribed by the doctor as not being clean, and that if you're taking anything prescribed by the doctor, then you're clean. And that happens to be a perspective that I agree with for the most part. And you know, the thing is I think what bothered me the most is like, to me, that's such an outside issue, right? Like, why are we discussing medications at all in a meeting? Like, as you know from the video that I had just done, like, I think this is an outside issue, and I think it's an outside issue for this reason. Because how can we tell people that they're loved and that we care about them and that we're going to support them in their recovery if our meeting is sharing all the reasons why we think what you're doing is wrong? We don't know what people's medications are. We don't know what people are doing. And if it's about attraction rather than promotion, how attractive is it to tell somebody who's working really hard on their recovery that they're not clean? And it bothered me. It bothered me a lot. And I did share, and I tried to share and bring it back to topic and just say, like, look, no matter what medications you take, we love you. No matter what's going on in your recovery, we love you. You're welcome here. And not everybody has the same perspectives. And it's okay. And we're allowed to share different perspectives on things. And I also shared that I didn't think this was an issue that we should be discussing in an NA meeting. But, like, there's so much hate. And, like, look, I don't know about anybody else, but, like, as an addict, I get enough judgment and stigma from people outside of the program, from people outside of recovery. It blows my mind to get that kind of judgment in a recovery program. Look, I don't care how you're recovering. I really don't. Whether you take medications or not, whether you go to NA, whether you do smart recovery, whether you do Mara, whether you do nothing and you go to therapy, whatever it is that you're doing, if it's working for you, if you're a happy, healthy, productive member of society and you feel your life getting better, that your life is becoming manageable again, then you keep doing what's working for you. If what you're doing is not working, or you're not happy, or something feels out of whack, then try something different. But don't ever let anybody else's opinion on your recovery make you feel like you're not doing something right. Recovery is not one size fits all, and it's not one size fits all within NA. You can talk to hundreds of people in NA, and they don't all recover the same way. We do all follow the same basic principles. I was really saddened by the fact of listening to somebody who was so smug in sharing their opinion. They knew I disagreed because we've had those conversations outside of meetings. And it's like, here's my question. Do you want to be right? Or do you want to save a life? Because I'll tell you, you can share your opinion and convince people that you're right all day long, but you know what? You may have just scared somebody out of the room who is never coming back. And now they feel guilty for taking a medication their doctor said they needed, so maybe they stop taking it even though they shouldn't. And when that person decides to go out and use and overdoses and dies, are you going to take that responsibility because you scared them out of the rooms? We need to start being more responsible with how we share. And tough love is okay. But ignorant, uneducated, hateful perspectives and points of view should never be what we hear in NA. Look, no, if no one told you today, I love you, and I want to see you do well. And no matter how you're choosing to recover today, you have support in me. I am never going to tell you that the way that you're doing things isn't right. I don't have to agree with how you're recovering. I don't have to agree with your program. Your program could kill me the same way my program could kill you. We need to do what's right for ourselves, and we need to keep people in our lives who we trust and who give us good suggestion. Don't ever let somebody tell you that your recovery program is not okay. It's okay to be different. Just be honest with yourself. Be honest with those who you love and take suggestion. But don't listen to people who are just trying to be right, because those suggestions are never going to be helpful. Anyway, I just had to share that. I was going to actually film it last night when I was like, but I was too heated and I was too like trying to process how I felt about that whole meeting in general. But unfortunately, this happens a lot in places, and I've seen too many people, like, read the comments on my other video. Like, there are people who stop going to NA because of that kind of hate. You shouldn't have a hate in a recovery program. It's ridiculous. So anyway, let me know. Have you been to a meeting like this? Did it affect your desire to return? If you did go back, why did you go back? Do you feel differently now? You know, share your experience. Look, we all recover differently. Join my Discord. We can absolutely have this conversation in a more in-depth way. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon. I do a couple extra videos a month there. I may do a little bit more in depth about this with things I wouldn't share on YouTube there. But yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not really active on Instagram so much, but Twitter I'm very active. So anyway, I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.